It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Fade that nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog needs slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Ask you something? I said, can I ask you something? Ain't I'm clean?
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand. You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
You're a philosopher?
Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. I mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check. Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check.
Look at my word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. Look at my word, can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard.
I think we OD.
I think we OD'd.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm coming. Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I'm coming. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the do. Do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode, because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
All right, welcome to the Big Eagle Hour. This is Big Pontiac bringing you whatever during this afternoon. And as you always know, I hope everybody was safe. Didn't hear about a lot of fatalities over this last holiday weekend. So I hope everybody was safe. Been pretty active. I only played pickleball today. I played for about an hour and a half. I haven't played since last Wednesday. They said it was packed yesterday because so many people were off. So it was a lot of people yesterday, but I didn't go. My knee is at the point where it's okay, but it's just, I swam yesterday. And so far as activity goes, I only burned 1,500 calories. I got 8, let me see, it's still going. Okay, it's still calculating. All right. So 1,500 calories, I burned 1,565 calories, 5,300 steps, 2.5 miles. Let me see to this. Yeah, I got my heart up to 205 beats. It was between 86 and 205 today. So that was when I was my peak plan. 8 hours of standing, 4 flights. Yeah, I exercised. Yeah, it was 102 minutes, which is basically an hour and a half. So yeah, Monday I swam. Let me see, Monday I swam. I swam for about an hour Monday, hour and 20 minutes. So today, yeah, about an hour and a half of exercise. So yeah, workout is an hour and 35 minutes. Yesterday I swam for 1,400 yards. Let's see if it does. Usually it shows you all the strokes and shit. 783 strokes. I swam for about an hour yesterday. And let me say, it's been 90 here, but the very strange thing is, as I said, let me see, last time I think it was Saturday night. Saturday I got in the pool, but it was still too cold to really, I was up to my waist. And yesterday I just jumped in, but normally I'm not the jump in kind of fella. I don't like that shock to my system when I jump in. So I just, but I said before, I shot baskets, but we swam every day. I was in the pool Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we swam yesterday. My daughter swam. I took my 20-year-old son and his friend. Michael's 21. My son will be 21 in a couple weeks. So I took them with me. So he swam. My son swam, and so it's always good seeing him. So we took him and Michael, and then Michael Ubered somewhere. So, but it was always good. And so we didn't take my great nephew, but his aunt brought him. So he did end up coming. We all and Saturday was cool. We ended up watching what goofy movie did we watch? We started watching Barbie, and we watched some other goofy movie. I guess I'd have to think about it. It wasn't that good. So, that was my days. But it's been hot. It's been in the 90s every day. Right now it's 89 degrees right now. Wasn't bad this morning because I already, it was pretty mild this morning. So yeah, it was pretty mild. Yeah. Oh, El Dragon Amaru Khan, what's happening? And even in the afternoon, you know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
Rodney H., thank you for joining. And I know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the jersey. I got to send this to my buddy, though. I got to send this to my buddy in North Carolina. I've been promising him this jersey, but yeah, just old. They gave Beverly this number, but this is old Wiggins jersey. You see, it's still Adidas. I've had this one for a while. I wear this every now and then, but yeah, because I thought Wiggins was a great player here. I was happy when he won a championship. I thought, he was a great player here. So, yeah. Yeah, and so that was, over in the brother-in-laws until yesterday evening, day before. We've been over there every day eating and stuff. We had Make Your Pizzas yesterday and Corzone, Make Your Corzones. So, most of the family was over there. So we, it's a nice little meeting, and that's what it's for. It's, give you a break because my great nephew, he started school today. And my daughter doesn't start until tomorrow. So she'll be, and it was funny. It was a few young girls that came out to the pickleball park, and I thought, okay, because again, here, sixth graders and ninth graders went to school. They're the only ones that went to school up here. Sixth graders and ninth graders. And then yesterday, the seventh and tomorrow, the seventh and eighth graders go. And then, and the high school people go too. Or the 10th and or 11th and 12th, I think that's how it goes. And I know, like most places, we've had at least one football game, and we've had another football game this week. So high school is kicked off pretty much everywhere. So, but yes, peace to you. Thank you for the nice words. Oh, so that's, what's been going on with me. Not a whole lot. Didn't get to catch the end of the Florida State movie because they was watching. I don't even remember the movie. That just to show you what movie we watched. I don't even remember it. Oh yeah, we watched Adam Sandler's movie about the bar mitzvah instead of watching Florida State LSU. That's what we end up watching. So I end up missing most of the I watched the Florida State game up until halftime, and then they wanted to watch the movie. So, and I think my phone had died. So I didn't get to watch the game. So he's watching the Adams the bar mitzvah movie, which was slow and yeah. But I guess sometimes you do have to give way to regular things and watch regular things and just sports. At least that's what I do. I give way sometimes. But most of the time I just like watching sports. So that's kind of what my thing is. And so, we got the NFL starting in 2 days. I'm going over my friend Tony's, going over his house. It was funny. He's a big Detroit fan. I was like, "What you got going on Thursday?" And he's thinking, "Well, what is Thursday? What's Thursday?" I'm like, "Thursday." I'm like, "Dude, your Lions play." And I think I put a bet in. I think the Lions are going to beat. Forget what the odds was, but I think the Lions are going to beat Kansas City. We'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. They're pushing the Lions. I still don't think they're going to let them win the Super Bowl. But they are hyping them up for a decent season. So don't be surprised if they had a decent season. But I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game. Just the way they're hyping them up. Because it's kind of unnatural. They did play better last year, but still, they weren't that, they weren't great as they should be. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Watching Winning Time, which is interesting about Magic, when Magic was like trade me or let me, trade me. And I remember that. I remember, it was like, wow, it caught everybody by surprise. Magic didn't like that system. And it's going to be interesting when they end up getting rid of Norm Nixon too. Because I think Norm Nixon won 2 championships with Magic. And I remember one thing they said is like Norm Nixon ends up going to the Clippers. And they was kind of laughing at him because he was with the Clippers. But even with the Clippers, he had some decent numbers. I don't know if he had Hall of Fame numbers, but decent numbers. But it's funny how they play it out, and you wouldn't think a man would be that naive to what's going on around him. Everybody hates him and wants to fire him. And again, ego is telling him everything is all right. But everything around him is crumbling, and he thinks that it's a rational situation, but he's dealing with like almost an irrational situation. irrational because the way Magic felt towards him and not wanting to play. And then it's interesting how even Magic talked about Pat Riley, Pat Riley smoking because they don't let him smoke on the sidelines like they used to. They used to let Red Auerbach smoke a cigar while he was on the sideline, but they don't appear to let happen anymore. Anthony Connor, thank you for coming. And I know this afternoon you got to have vision. So thank you for coming. And so it's an interesting series to get those different perspectives. It's funny, for those of you that are old ESPN heads, they talk. Jim Murray is an old newspaper dude. Jim Murray is also one of the people that picked against Ali, and so when Ali beats Liston, he's pointing at everybody. Well, Jim Murray is one of them, but they care about because he's an LA writer, so he's dogging everybody wants to dog Magic and stuff. But by the time they get to the championship, they beat Dr. J in the first championship, or second championship, because Dr. J wins in '83. That's what would be coming up. They win in '82. Dr. J wins in '83. I think Larry Bird won in '84 and '86. I think Larry Bird won in '81, maybe '84. And then Magic wins his last one when he does the hook and beats Boston. And then Larry Bird, that was the last final Larry Bird ever went to. And remember, Magic Johnson made it all the way to where he played Michael Jordan with his, and that was really, that was scripted so much because the Portland, if you remember, Portland had a really good team. I think Jimmy Jackson was up there, J.R. Ryder, and they beat that team, which they really shouldn't have beat that team. That team was pretty good up in Portland, if you remember those days. But they wanted Magic Johnson to pass the baton to Michael Jordan. That's why that was set up like that. That's why they wanted, Michael had lost to everybody. And you notice Michael never beat Isaiah other than in the playoffs, but he beat Isaiah late, and then he never beat Larry Bird, though. They never put Larry Bird out. Never had a chance to. So those of you that like basketball history. So it's interesting to look at that type of history and how unstable the NBA in general was as they were trying to really build up the TV contracts and stuff. And that was really, if you look at Magic's and what Larry Bird did, is they helped get the new TV contracts. Because I think even Magic's first years, I've said many times before, it was tape delayed. We already knew who won before we watched the game, but we'd watch the game anywhere, or we'd ignore the news. And it was like, it would come on at midnight. It's like Friday night, if the game come on regular time, it'd come on Friday night at midnight. It'd come on like after the news. So you didn't watch the news to see who won, then the game would come on after the news. So the new contract was really Magic and Larry Bird benefited. Michael Jordan is the one that really gets credit, but it was Magic and Larry Bird that really stabilized the NBA for everyone else. Michael Jordan benefited from it the most, as everyone knows, but that's really who kind of stabilized the league back then. So for those of you that are into that kind of thing. And then I think yesterday was also our last day of our fair. The fair was, I didn't make it out there. I didn't really, I've spent so much money doing things that, I didn't really want to spend that money doing that. I didn't really want to spend money doing that. So I did not do that. But not to say the fair still wasn't a great time, because the fair still is a cool time. It was one story. Let's see if I can find it. I did want to bring. No, wasn't that one. Was it this one? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I don't have. Let's see. Is it this one? Here we go. Yeah, I did want to show this. Check this out. This is not well, yeah, but here's in Minnesota. Check this out. So it was sparks. Sparks caused this fire? We don't really see what causes it. I think they're saying sparks caused the fire? They highlight that truck. Oh. So what did it give off? Huh. So something came from that car they circled and it caused this fire. Wow. Shit is burning like a mug. No rescue there, nothing. It doesn't look like this is not a vehicle. It looks like they caught the medium on fire. Yeah, caught the medium on fire. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, just caught the medium on fire. Doesn't really show, you can't really tell. So that was this morning around here. So that's good. No murders to report. Oh yeah, this was messed up.
Defensive lineman of the year last year.
This is kind of messed up. Yeah, this is sad. This is sad. This is definitely sad, and it just tells you you always have to pay attention and respect the water. But here we go.
Here last year.
Marissa Olinger beams with pride, talking about her brother Kyrie.
He just, could make anybody laugh. He cared so deeply about everybody that he came across. He didn't have a bad thing to say about anyone.
The 18-year-old graduated from Spring Lake Park High School.
This was at Stout the previous weekend.
He had just started football at UW Stout when he went to a friend's cabin.
Gonna start classes on Tuesday and go into industrial.
I don't know what happened to
Defensive lineman of the year last year.
Marissa Olinger beams with pride, talking about her brother Kyrie.
He just, could make anybody laugh. He cared so.
Yeah, this couple drowned.
Also didn't make it.
It's very tragic, just the whole thing in general. We lost two young people from the same community, if you ask me, and just kind of how that reverberates.
Something's wrong with their audio.
Sadly, that was not the only track.
Yeah, something's wrong with their audio. But yeah, so I caught that yesterday, that you still have to be careful no matter what. Autism intervention. Oh, this is
the hot weather again today.
Yeah, this has been going on a little bit since last week, and maybe they've figured this out.
Raised during an inmate protest at the Stillwater prison. The protests ended on Sunday, but advocates came again today as a lockdown kept the inmates out of communication. Fox 9's Corin Huggard is there live now with the latest, Corin, on this, heated issue.
Yeah, absolutely, Amy and Kelsey, it was a heated issue, and these inmates are, for the most part, cut off from the outside world this weekend because a staffing shortage led to a lockdown, but they did have a back and forth this afternoon with their supporters.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
A demand for help for inmates at the Stillwater State Prison got a loud response from inside the facility's brick walls. Over the weekend, about 100 of these inmates protested conditions by refusing to return to their cells from the area where they make phone calls and take showers. They complained about being stuck in hot cells without access to airy spaces and activities for extended periods, including during the extremely hot holiday weekend.
It got to a point now where we decided to take a peaceful protest and take a stand for our rights and say, listen, we ain't taking it no more.
State prison officials tell us they're looking into air conditioning at several older prisons like Stillwater's, but that'll be an expensive request to the state legislature. And they blamed a staffing shortage for access issues. The Stillwater prison is short 50 correctional officers, and the state is down about 300, or 14% of their workforce.
We simply had to implement a more modified schedule for the course of this weekend, and we understand the challenges around that, but this is how we have to manage it in light of where we are.
The Department of Corrections is recruiting staff, but prisoner advocates say the solution is much simpler.
If we have a staffing crisis, you can address the staffing crisis by letting people home for good.
He's talking about a new state law there. So coming up on Fox 9 at 6, we'll...
Yeah, so this is over. This is over. They were fighting with this last week. And you know, it's people have rights, and sometimes we forget that. Yeah, this is all they've been talking about down here. So that's what they've been talking about a lot down here. This has been kind of going on, but actually it's been a smooth weekend, and that's good. I mean,
defensive lineman of the year last year
and stuff, and there's none of that. You know, there's really none of the deaths, and so that's really a good average weekend. I think we can all agree it's just a good, mild, average weekend, and so that's positive. That is really positive. And so just the Twins, I think the Twins won yesterday. Watched that. Trying to think, when did the Gophers come on again? And you know, we finally we're like the rest of the country again. You know, our children are back to school, which I mentioned. My great nephew, he's back to school. So, and that's probably going on all around the country. So that's kind of the talk. And those of you that are parents or grandparents, aunts and uncles, then you know what you're going through. It's interesting how regimented we are. I mean, we are very regimented, and you know, the Prussians are the ones that invented our elementary or our school system. That's where, you know, being in PE, sitting in rows, all that comes from the Prussians. So, Cova the technician, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
And I hope you had a good weekend on the coast. I hope your weekend was smooth. My weekend was pretty smooth. Not a lot going on. And so that's what's going on with everybody that has children. Your children are going back to school. Oh, this is kind of boring, but how St. Louis Park Schools is handling free meals. Yeah, and all up here, all the high school students, pre-high school. No, let me take this back. From 8th grade all the way down to kindergarten get free lunch now. I think free breakfast and free lunch. High schools don't necessarily have to do it, but that's something they just passed this year. So all children get fed, which is cool. Which is cool. And that goes, you know, like breakfast programs, I've said before, it goes back to the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers started the breakfast program because they found out one of the number one things that were stopping children from learning is children were hungry. And so they stepped in some cases, and I know, you know, you get an age, but some cases they serve breakfast, they serve lunch and dinner. You know, some places they serve lunch and dinner. And those from the Midwest that are old enough, you know, the Panthers had a big hand in Chicago. You know, they had a lot going on in Chicago. Again, WIC comes from the Panthers. The Panthers had free doctor clinics. They had clinics that would come to the people. Again, feeding the children. Children could come in. The communities were helping. Elaine Brown's book, she's not quite honest in a lot of things, but a lot of the programs, she gives you a greater understanding. Again, she was in LA. But if you read of Fred Hampton, read of the Chicago Panthers, you understand how Chicago Panthers responded to the social programs. And that's the biggest, that was the biggest scare for the government, because all of a sudden you have social programs being successful. And people starting to think, well, if the Panthers can do it for less money than the government does it, why don't we let the Panthers be our political party? They didn't want that. They wanted to make you think that the Panthers was violent because they defended themselves. But remember, the Panthers never started any shootings. The shootings were all always happening to them. And it was an ebony out when I was a child. I think I was in junior high, and it showed the pages of the Panthers that got killed. And I'm sure a quick search would show you. But I mean, this showed you the pictures of the actual people that got killed, and it makes no sense. The majority of these people, again, were attacked. And the major reason was the attack of social programs and Continental Pro, spies all up in there. That's the problem with the civil rights. You can't really believe the civil rights because there was so many spies up in it. So many people that work for the FBI. Agents. And you look at the Fred Hampton movie. His main bodyguard was an agent. Again, the person with the loudest. That's what you would see. The person that's agents would be the loudest and try to be the blackest. So, like they say sometimes, smiling faces tells lies. Smiling faces tell lies. This is interesting. This is kind of long, but I'll play a little bit of this. It's kind of long, but I need to go to the bathroom anyway. Stand up.
Ruining our view of the stars. It's called light pollution, and unlike other kinds of pollution, it's a problem with a very simple fix. Tonight, we're taking you to one of the darkest places on Earth.
And here's our environmental reporter, David Schechter, on the dot.
So this is a park that's like very close to my house. And I'm out here looking for stars. I think I see one star.
Light pollution comes from excessive artificial light that causes the sky to glow. And new research in the journal Science found because of light pollution, the night sky is getting 10% brighter every year.
What is lost when you look up and you can't see what everybody else, every other generation saw, except for ours?
In order to see what's really up there, you gotta leave the city lights behind and get to some pretty remote places. I'm talking the middle of nowhere kind of places. This is the McDonald Observatory in far west Texas.
For maximum drama, I like to open this door.
That's where astronomer Stephen Janowicki works.
Stephen to Amy, we are heading onto the dome floor.
Yeah, drama.
And let me say this is, people forget that the stars, people forget that the stars are in the sky because if you live, again, in the big cities, you have nothing but light pollution. I mean, I've lived down here. I've lived in places like we live near the Target that's in Savage, and the lights, like it was, our bedroom faced the street, and you could see, the lights from Target always kept our bedroom, and this was a couple blocks away, but it always kept our bedroom, it lit up for the most part. And most of you that live in bigger areas now, where I live is kind of a mixture of not quite rural. I do live in the city of Burnsville, but and I do live on a hill, so the light pollution is less than what the people that lived in the Twin Cities proper. So my view of the sky is a little less. But those of you that been down south, like where my ex-wife lived in North Carolina, I mean, it would get so dark out there. It was like you could barely see your hand. Like I'd go outside to smoke a joint, it'd be darker than a mug, but a different type of dark. People forget that type of dark. But again, we were in the country in North Carolina. The only lights would have been on the streets, and we were in the little town, so the town streets ain't that. This is rural North Carolina, so the town streets ain't got that much light to it. But, you know, when you study the stars, you don't want any light pollution. That's why they show this place so far away. And so, but I'm glad, Silva, you had a good time off. And I hope everybody did. I hope everybody, you know, did your thing. I can say I really relaxed. Again, I didn't play pickleball since last Wednesday. So I took, you know, it's probably the biggest break I've taken all year. And so, but I like not being sore because swimming ain't as hard as pickleball. And so for those of you that, you know, like seeing the stars, and, you know, that's kind of how I am. And let's get a little more from them. I want to hear what else they got to say.
You weren't lying.
Amy, can we go back to north for the structure, please? We can walk around.
Got like a magic radio where it's just like he can move this giant telescope with his radio.
The Hobby Eberly Telescope, operated by the University of Texas, is the largest of its kind in the world. At night, it collects the light from outer space on its very large mirror.
Why is darkness so essential to the work?
We are trying to catch the light, the little particles of light that come from the farthest corners of the universe sometimes, and have traveled unthinkable distances to get here.
And
man, he looked like he ain't got none in years. He's so excited being up in there. Like, man, look, he has no pimping. He has no pimping at all. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go.
Unthinkable distances to get here.
And why do we need to know this?
When I told my grandfather I was going to be an astronomer, he said, "Why don't you be a pediatrician like your cousin?" And it was the same question. But I think we need to know because it's a fundamental human pursuit of trying to learn new things. It's the same question of why we make art or why we, do anything that doesn't have a product that comes out of it. We are trying to understand the universe.
And that job is getting harder. This is a light pollution map of the United States. Check out the eastern half of the country, where there are now
and so I'm roughly in here. I am roughly, because we've got Michigan, we've got Wisconsin, so I'm like right in here somewhere. So as you see, it's it's kind of broken up. It's probably this light is probably the Twin Cities. Guessing following here. Yeah, probably this bright light is the Twin Cities. And so I live on the outskirts of this. And then we look at Silva up on the coast. I mean, you see, up on the coast, it is lit up. Well, look at this pocket. This is probably West Virginia. God, hardly nothing. And then go out west, they have more sparse. And then you go down here, but you can see the Midwest, the coast. I mean, look at that. You can't really see anything beyond that. And then again, the story of what is really beyond that. What are they really looking at? Are we looking at another sea or what are we looking at?
very few places left that are not light polluted.
If the sky got too bright, eventually there would be no point in building big telescopes on the ground at all.
Honestly, I think a lot of people come here for the telescopes, but leave just remembering the naked eye experience the most, right?
Because you get so much, right?
It's everything all at once.
Yeah.
Protecting the night sky here is the job of astronomer Stephen Hummel.
I always forget to bring chairs.
Stephen is giving me my own private tour of the major constellations in the sky.
There's so much up there.
Now see, this is what light pollution blocks you from. It looks like this. Now again, when it's cloudy, it's something different when it's cloudy, but just look at that. Look at all that, whatever that is, This is almost like another ocean. It's almost like what you would see in the deep somewhere, these lights, things creating their own light. So.
What a beautiful night.
It's perfect. And the detail in the Milky Way is remarkable. I mean, and then to the right of it, we have one of my favorite constellations and one of the easiest to recognize, which is Scorpius.
Oh, yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, it's easy to recognize.
Yes, that's amazing.
We have the stinger, the two little stars. We've got the curve.
Stephen says the biggest reason we're losing the night sky is the rapid adoption of brighter, whiter LED streetlights. They both flood the sky with wasted light and reflect light off the ground, and that makes the sky glow.
They're more efficient.
Right.
They save energy. They become very cost effective. But the most common kinds you see, the sort of bright white ones, are absolutely making the problem much worse.
What are other reasons to preserve this?
Why preserve the night sky? I would just be heartbroken if future generations couldn't enjoy this the way we are now. Imagining.
It seems like they would want that. It seems like they would want to hide the sky because they don't. I mean, again, the people that read the stars and read the planets, but there's energies out there in that, and so it would appear like to me they're on purposely don't want you to connect with the skies anymore. So, but he's right. I mean, it's nothing like being able to see, a star-filled night. It's so beautiful. It's so relaxing. And for those of you that are spiritual, it's a great spiritual time to just be outside admiring it, because we so often don't admire things that are free and beautiful. And our night skies full of stars can be beautiful. And so, and for those that live in the rural areas, you already know this, so. Oh my goodness.
Warning about.
Okay. Well, this is for stupid ass people. Here we go. People get stupid. People are stupid. And you can't always blame children, but children appear to be stupid sometimes too.
About a viral social media trend known as the One Chip Challenge. Police say a 14-year-old in Massachusetts died on the same day that he took the challenge. It involves eating what is claimed to be one of the spiciest tortilla chips in the world. Emily Marr reports.
He did all the things that mattered.
Douglas Hill coached Harris Wollaba at St. Bernard Gym. He says the 14-year-old was quiet and reserved, but was finding himself on the court.
I think basketball provided a very specific environment for him where he could be free.
His family says the high school sophomore took part in the One Chip Challenge, eating a single tortilla chip seasoned with some of the world's hottest peppers at school last week. They say he died several hours later.
It just pauses you for a moment there, makes you question what is going on. How did this happen?
Father Jonathan Slavinskis prayed with Harris's family during this unthinkable loss.
No one wants the weight of this pain upon their hearts, and they have a weight.
While officials say it's too early to know if the chip contributed to Harris's death, doctors say when people ingest capsaicin, an ingredient found naturally in the peppers used on the chip, side effects can be dangerous.
Sometimes we see people that will have a lot of chest pain, or they'll experience things like palpitations as well. So a whole variety of issues that we're seeing with this One Chip Challenge.
As they begin processing his death, Harris's friends, teammates, and coaches are honoring his life.
My whole thought process was, how do we honor him? And it's through the game that he loved.
Really sad. Also, something to note, there is a clear warning on the back of the chip that is not intended for children to consume.
And not intended for you to be stupid and eat it because some celebrities eat it. And when are they going to make the celebrities that do this, that the children imitate? I watched a couple pro basketball players eat this stuff, so how are they not responsible? So don't be stupid. That's the biggest thing, is like, don't be stupid. And that's what happens. Oh, wow. When did this happen? Okay. They have the weirdest stuff that happens to people up here. Oh. Okay, I caught this one. I want to show this first. I wonder if this is where that couple passed.
Here collapsed at the Madison campus of the University of Wisconsin.
This video captured the moments the deck with at least 60 people suddenly gave way yesterday, plunging them into a lake. Wreckage could be seen floating in the water after that collapse.
Oh my God, what was that noise? And then it was like fight or flight. I was like, oh my God, all my stuff's on the dock. Like, is everyone okay? Swing back as fast as I can. And then we kind of stood on the dock as it was collapsing a little bit for a little while. Like, should we swim back? We have all our things.
Yeah, chaos. The pier was scheduled to be removed today for the end of the summer season. In a statement, the university said the area was not staffed by lifeguards at the time of the collapse, and they are planning to investigate how it all happened. At least 20 people were hurt after a pier. collapsed at the Madison.
Wow. 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 People are stupid again. Ooh, she was cute. Damn, let's look back at her again. She was cute. I didn't even notice her. They didn't let her talk, did they? She's kind of cute. Didn't let her talk, though. So, didn't let her talk. Oh, here we go. I saw this. Okay. Here we go. It's like, man, craziness. Now, this is some debauchery, no doubt. This is debauchery.
In just 8 days' time, we have another parent that has murdered their child, their teenage child who was only 16. Let me show you Stephen Thomas Rada. Stephen Thomas Rada is 37 years of age. He was living down the road here with his grandfather, Thomas Rada, who is 65 years of age, and our victim, who is 16 years of age, and his parents gave us permission to use his name as Stephen Rada. Let me first tell you about Stephen Rada. Stephen went to Frostproof High School. His parents said he was in 11th grade. He was to start work next week at Burger King to earn money so that he could buy a car. He was also studying to be an electrician. That was his dream in life. Stephen Rada, who's 16 years of age, was a great kid. Not just a good kid, but a great kid. In fact, he was living with his grandfather to help him out while his grandmother was in rehab. That's the kind of kid that Stephen was. Stephen Thomas Rada, his dad, had just shown up about a month ago. And we asked, where's he been? He's been in D.C., he's been in South Carolina, he's been in Ohio, he's been in Texas. There was even an outstanding warrant for Stephen Thomas Rada in South Carolina, but South Carolina would not extradite. So he was unable to be arrested. Well, on this particular morning, Thomas Rada, the grandfather, left about 8 o'clock to go visit with his wife in rehab. When he returned home about 11 o'clock today, he was met outside by our suspect, his son, Stephen Rada, and his quote was, "I wouldn't go in there if I was you. I killed someone. You may need to call the police." Thomas Rada told us it was not uncommon for his son, Stephen Rada, to talk bizarre. We are told that Stephen Rada used methamphetamine since high school, and he has psychotic episodes. When Thomas Rada went into the house, into the mobile home, there he saw his son, his grandson, deceased in the dining room, kitchen area. And we know that it appears at the early stage of the investigation. And as we always tell you, the information we give you this soon after an investigation is the best information we have. It's certainly subject to change, but at this time, it appears that our suspect, Stephen Thomas Rada, used an angle grinder to kill his son. It breaks our heart. There aren't adequate words to explain how horrific this event is. I've talked to the grandmother, the grandfather, the parents are here. And when you see and hear them talk about how wonderful Stephen Rada, their 16-year-old son, was, how squared away he was, The fact that he was willing to live with his grandfather to help him out while his grandmother was in rehab. The fact that he was scheduled to start working at Burger King next week to earn money while going to high school.
Wow. Europeans, sometimes you just don't know. I mean, damn. Like he was crazy, so he killed his son. Ooh, I like this one. I like this one. Oh, this is not new. That is not new. That is not new. Wow. Here we go. This is the kind of thing. It makes you not, you don't even want to see people help people. You don't even want to see people help people because that's like every time you help someone and then somebody ends up getting killed. So let them tell it. And this was a couple days ago in Chicago, apparently.
We're between hurt and rage.
A woman who dedicated her life to helping her community has lost her life to violence on the West Side. Thank you for joining us on this Labor Day. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Natalie Bumke in for Dawn. We start with the murder of a church pantry volunteer found brutally beaten to death. Tia Ewing is live.
Well, you heard from her friend who was absolutely heartbroken. She told me that Marisol Berrios was a giver. She didn't have a lot of money, but she used what she had to help others. And her friend telling me she even helped the man that is now charged with her murder.
I'm like, is this what we get when you try so hard to help somebody? Then you have to worry about your personal safety.
Hours ago, Leatisha Bailey found out her friend Marisol Berrios was murdered in her home in the 4200 block of West Adams Street. This video shows Bailey and Berrios packing up food for the less fortunate.
You know, she didn't have a lot. She would connect with ministries that would go all around the world and help people.
The 53-year-old was also a pastor that migrated to Chicago, a native of Honduras. Her life's mission was filled with missions to different countries giving back. Bailey says she even helped a man that is now charged with her murder.
When I saw his face, my heart was broken because this was somebody she fed. This was somebody she gave, small amounts of money to help.
Saturday, Chicago police say is when 59-year-old Marvin Wells forced his way into Berrios' apartment, fatally injuring and killing her.
They broke in her house. They took the car, they took her purse, they murdered her, they just beat her with a hammer.
Wells also allegedly stole the car Berrios was in possession of, which belonged to her sister. He crashed it 4 miles away from the crime scene, and that's when Chicago police took him into custody.
That she left here in a defensive position. Like, she saw it coming and she was afraid. How do you do that? How do you do that to somebody who gave so much?
That's a good question. Like, my other question would be, like, how did he know where she lived? Like, she was that lax where he could come over and get a few dollars, and then they plan, they getting high, and they think that's an easy lick. And it's like, you wonder, where is their humanity? But that's, trusting people, you can't really always trust people. That's the biggest thing is you can't trust them sometimes. And so, if, you're volunteering like that, like she said, you've got to be aware of your personal safety. And if you're not aware of your personal safety, anything can happen to you. So you got to remember that. Oh, they're on. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if the couple from here got killed on that. Yeah, I wonder if they got killed on that. The couple here got killed on this collapse. That's what I think. I think that couple here got killed on that collapse ramp. Or that collapse dock. Yeah, there's not a lot going on, and that's good. I mean, some of these stories are bad enough, but still. And that's the thing is like, so often we want to, like, children don't understand. Like, you would think children would understand that you don't imitate unsafe things, but what do we always get? Children imitating unsafe things. And you think it would just, sometimes it would also be, so it's like common sense is not common to everyone. Keep that in mind. It is not common to everyone. And so sometimes we think we don't need to step in, but a lot of times we do need to step in because the young people don't seem to make these great decisions sometimes. And so with us, if we pay attention to the children around us, we can help with the children and hope that, show a good enough example where they don't make stupid decisions. So they don't make stupid decisions. And and it's also that they still haven't caught this murderer that escaped in, I think, Virginia. They still ain't caught him yet. Pennsylvania, they still ain't caught him. And this is like the second dude, and it's the second dude that's escaped somewhere. So, but this has been I'm a little tired now. I haven't played pickleball since last Wednesday, so I'm a little tired. My feet are a little sore, but overall, I was kind of seeing how my knee was gonna do, so a little sore. But yeah, Read My Soul. Hey, thank you for joining Read My Soul. And I know
You got to have vision.
Man, Read My Soul. I think the Jordan 38s have come out, and I think I'm gonna have to get them, but they like at $200. So I don't know. I gotta save money for my Gators when I get married, so I don't know if I'm getting. No, I'm getting the 38s. I'm getting the 38s. So I think it's the white and black colorway. I'm getting those though. It might be pictures of what they look like. Let's see. Here we go. Shoot. Oh, somebody's charging 300. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Yeah, you can get these now. You can get these right here now. Yeah, you can get these now. Yeah, $200. Yep. You can get these now. Has more of the leather toe, as you see. This mesh was put in the toe. So this, they went away from the mesh. I like the mesh of the 37s because on an extremely hot day, your feet stay cool. And so I don't know if this is going to be as great pickleball shoe, but yeah, you can get these right now. And they have, let's see, they have this white too. This is coming out of, who is this? Status. You can get this in white, where this is white with the white colorway. And you see this in a lot of the Nike shoes. They put this high piece of plastic in there. Yeah, that's what yeah, exactly. Waiting for a sale, exactly. Because they 200 bones at this point. But I think that's the colorway you can also get is the white one. These are, so because it's got the, bulls, the red and the black. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, what's different in them. And the LeBrons have come out. Well, they haven't come out. You can't quite get the LeBron 20. I saw a dude have a colored cutaway of the LeBron 21. So it has the two laces in the front, two eyelets. So, I'm a sneakerhead too. I'm a sneaker junkie as well. I want to see. Let me see if this new Jordan. No. Let's see if they was gonna show. So yeah, you can get those now. And I'm not really a old kind of collect sneakers because they don't make them as well. To me, they don't make the older sneakers as well. And I would never buy a pair of Air Forces. They're too flat. There's nothing in them. If I buy, like even, I think I don't know. I'd have to bring them out here. I can't think of off the wall. I can't see them. But, I some of these shoes you can't walk in. I can't, at least for me. They're not comfortable. And Air Force Ones are not comfortable at all. They're just a flat shoe. And I guess I find it funny that, some people can walk in that kind of stuff without foot problems. I've had foot problems my whole life. I can't walk in fast shoes. I have to walk in something that has, I wear orthotics. I have orthotics that, go in a pair of my shoes. But the only bad thing about orthotics, you generally got to get a bigger size to make them fit. Because my other pair, they're so tight in the shoe that, it's not really comfortable to wear. So, but yeah, that's, the kind of thing I'm into. I'm a sneakerhead, so I'm into that kind of thing. I'm into that kind of thing, baby. I'm into that kind of thing. Oh, and it's still showing 88 up here. Look at my son. Oh, it went away. Let's see if I can bring him back up. Where'd my son go? There he is. That's my son. His goofy ass. We were hooking everything up. But he was with me yesterday. We was hanging out yesterday. He was off. So, well, I didn't have a whole lot to say, y'all. Just wanted to come on. I hadn't came on for a couple of days and just wanted to come on for a little while. It's not a whole lot to say. I'm going to have to leave, too. In the next half hour, she's kicking me out the house because they're coming to do some type of wedding planning. So I'm going to end up going into the city and kicking it with somebody. So that's what I'm about to do. So just wanted to come and chill with everybody for a little while and hope everybody, and this is the grind, really. That's why I always thought that the physical year, like the physical year should really, this should be I always thought some way, the way the Mayan calendar is, it comes, it comes later. The year starts technically in July. And to me, that's better. The new year should start when it's life, not when it's death. That's how they get us. They start the new year in the time of death, which wintertime is the time of death. So how is it a new year? Do you see the spell going on even in that? Why would you start something? I mean, just think about it. Why would anyone say, well, we need to start the new year when it's cold and everything's dead? Because it's all a spell. And they need us. And this is why the spells are coming so hard in November. I mean, think about what they need you to do. They need you Thanksgiving you. No, first they Halloween you. And then they speed up time because the time from Halloween till Christmas, that time will go like the summer went. Because they need your energy to make everybody think it's a new year when it's just the same thing. Just the same thing. They just want you to count down to when you die, really. It's just the same thing. But the new year should start kind of the way the Mayan did it. The day out of time is, I think, July 26th. That makes more sense. Start the new year when it's green out there, not the new year when it's death out there. You would just think common sense would tell you that. But that's not what they do. They do the opposite. And so I want to say, all the parents, I do want to say all the parents out there that have supplied for their children and their children, going to school and you've given them and you're making sure they look sharp. I just want to applaud you. I definitely want to applaud you. Because if you're anything like me, I'd say we spent a good almost $2,000 on my daughter. I don't know what her mom spent, but I spent about $2,000 on her for going to school. So I know many of you out there did about the same thing. You spent, money to help your child, so your child has the most confidence they can have. We even bought my great nephew some stuff because his grandmother's style ain't, she don't really know the style. He kind of looks at my nephew as kind of his hero on how to dress, because they really, you don't know how his grandmother and his uncle don't quite see how young teenagers dress because they're not around young teenagers other than, again, my nephew that's 18. So he kind of looks at him. I know he looks at the way I dress too, because I'm a sporting kind of dresser. Is wearing a jersey, you can see. So, but yeah, I just wanted to come on for a little while and just give my words. I don't have a whole lot of words today. I'm a little tired. Been meditating quite a bit. Did something to my neck. My neck's a little sore. So I think this is all the time I have. I gotta end up going out for a while. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing. So thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And as I bring sneakers in and stuff, I'll definitely show up. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to philosophize because I've given a lot of my spiritual energy to meditating. And it's funny. I'll say this for people that want to meditate. It's a lot freer to meditate during the day because at night you got people entering the dream state. More people are more spiritually active. The spirit world is more active at night, and the daytime is if for those of you that have trouble kind of breaking through. If you can black out everything, again, I've got, when I meditate, I wear a double mask to try to black it out as much as possible. And then, get your third eye open and start projecting with it. Because it's the greatest projector we have. And then you'll see a whole different life. You'll see something that's real, that there's no explanation for. They want to call it the, astrofields. And I'm old man, but that's, astrofields, and that's, and it's not stagnant. Like when you go into this, it's not something that just it stays one way. It ain't like you go into it, you're like, hey, my third eye's open. It's just one little picture. No, it's constantly moving you through space time, whatever level you're in. It's constantly moving you. And then again, if you're not seeing any movement in it, is your third eye really open? Because it's almost like a complete projection when it comes open. It's like even when sleep, it's sometimes in sleep your third eye open instead of you just going to sleep. It'll open up and you'll start seeing things and you should be moving through it. So yeah, that's all I got. So thank you for coming. Till we meet again.